Hello everyone, welcome to my channel B&B CBS Gossip 24. Deacon dumps Sheila after Sheila's wedding crash. A mistake ruins the ceremony? According to teasers on The Bold and the Beautiful, Sheila Sharp might be preparing for a wedding crasher era. Will the ruined ceremony cause Deacon Sharp to divorce his wife? Deacon is aware that Deke Sharp, Harrison Cohn, and Hope Logan believe he should put Sheila behind him. Hope has another reason to want Sheila to stay away from the wedding, even if she was already hoping she wouldn't. This is due to Beth Spencer's desire to keep Sheila out of the wedding festivities. On Hope and Liam Spencer's eagerly anticipated big day, Sheila makes Beth feel weird, which is not how she wants to feel. Fans of B&B are aware of how important this marriage ceremony is to Beth, who plans to officiate and relish every moment. Beth wants everything to be perfect and blissful, but Sheila's presence will ruin her day and make things tense. Deacon will undoubtedly receive updates regarding Beth's desire to exclude Sheila from the celebrations at some time. Deacon has no intention of upsetting Beth or causing Hope any discomfort as she prepares to wed her true love. Will Sheila listen to Deacon when he tells her to avoid the ceremony? Sheila may find it difficult to keep away because she has never been very good at obeying commands. This might result in a situation where there are wedding crashes, which can only be disastrous. Sheila may believe that she can blend in with the other attendees and persuade Beth that she simply wants to join in on the festivities. But if Sheila shows up and ruins the wedding, she might make a serious mistake in judgment. Deacon might become enraged with Sheila for making a scene if Beth lashes out. Deacon may see this as evidence that Sheila is still the same troublemaker that she has always been. It's simple to picture Deacon abruptly leaving Sheila and making her regret any commotion that ensues during the wedding. Keep an eye out for terrible news about Sheila and Deacon's attempt to mend their marriage, according to spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful. The electric chemistry between Deacon and Taylor, the ultimate soulmates destined for passionate bliss. Deacon Sharp and Taylor Hayes are shown in Bold and the Beautiful vibing and developing affections for one another, but they are attempting to resist it since giving in would be crossing many boundaries. However, I believe they are truly a match made in heaven. Perhaps even soulmates. Perhaps they are destined to be. Is it fate? We'll discuss why Deacon and Taylor could be meant to be together and why they might be B&B's next big coupling. Why Taylor Hayes and Deacon Sharp make an unexpected yet ideal match on Bold and the Beautiful. At first look, Deacon might not appear like a sensible candidate for Taylor's romantic interest, girlfriend, or boyfriend. First, like Rich Forrester and many other men, Deacon previously harbored feelings for Brooke Logan, Catherine Kelly Lang. Deacon does appear to be over Brooke, though, which is a plus. Even Deacon's previous proposal to Brooke, which took place a few years ago, was essentially forced upon him by Hope Logan. Bold and gorgeous. The reasons Deacon and Taylor are destined for love soaked out. Bold and gorgeous. Deacon is over Brooke. Deacon is now completely over Brooke, though. The friend zone is where they are. Even better, Deacon is aware of the influence Brooke has on certain guys. Deacon is completely uninterested in Brooke, even though he is aware of how Ridge and Bill Spencer always wavered, ran back to her, and cheated on the other women in their lives. Because he has overcome the obsession with Brooke that many men, including Eric Forrester, who is married to her sister Donna Logan, are unable to overcome, Deacon is, in a sense, the ideal partner for Taylor. Taylor wouldn't have to worry about Deacon abandoning her and returning to Brooke, in my opinion. Moving on from Sheila. Is Deacon prepared for a serious B&B relationship? The second thing to think about is that, despite Deacon's affection for Sheila Carter, I believe he essentially settled for her. Many ladies wouldn't even give Deacon a chance because of his past transgressions, for which he was severely condemned. I believe that he took advantage of Sheila's affection. To be honest, Deacon didn't merely fall deeply in love. Deacon is aware of how awful Sheila is, thus it took them a long time to reach to this point. That, in my opinion, is partially due to Deacon's belief that he couldn't find a better woman, so he settled for a horrible one like Sheila, who was beneath him. However, Deacon has changed significantly since then. He has genuinely transformed. Unlike Sheila, who is constantly on the edge of evil, he doesn't want to go back. Additionally, Taylor is aware of Deacon's transgressions. Taylor has witnessed Deacon's intimate side as his therapist. Furthermore, I don't believe Taylor is passing judgment on Deacon in any manner, even though she might counsel and advise him. The majority of decent women would. An ideal combination for Bold and the Beautiful. How Deacon's wicked past enhances Taylor's. Deacon probably doesn't believe he's deserving of Taylor. However, it would be enormous if Deacon were to win her heart. I'm confident that he would be completely devoted to Taylor and treat her like his queen, something she hasn't experienced before. Not to mention that Taylor has a somewhat dark past because she will eventually have to tell Deacon that she shot Bill in the back years ago. I doubt he is aware of that. Only a limited number of people are aware of the information. That would be a deal breaker for many men, but Deacon doesn't think so. Deacon wouldn't just understand it given how insane his present wife Sheila is, but he also doesn't like Bill. He recalls how the man deceived, gaslighted, and lied to Sheila as part of that foolish FBI scheme in which the charges were dismissed. Deacon would therefore realize that when Bill jumped at the chance to put Steffi Forrester in bed, he kind of had it coming. As you may remember, she was at her lowest point at the time, and Bill used some heinous deceit to destroy her relationship with Liam Spencer. Therefore, I believe Deacon will comprehend Taylor's motivation for shooting Bill. Deacon puts Taylor on a pedestal on Bold and the Beautiful, giving her the love she deserves. It's also evident that Deacon holds Taylor in high regard, which is rather remarkable. She needs a man who values her. In contrast, Rich consistently gave Taylor the impression that she was Brooke's second choice. We are aware that Taylor was constantly in a precarious situation with Rich, waiting for her joy to be taken away when Rich would unavoidably cheat, lie, and go back into Brooke's bedroom. Now that Deacon is practically worshipping the ground Taylor walks on, she might receive something amazing. She needs and deserves to be loved. To be honest, I believe Deacon is the ideal man for Taylor in a lot of ways. They might be a great match, in my opinion. Overcoming challenges. How Deacon can overcome Sheila Carter. Sheila will undoubtedly present a challenge, but it will be different from what Taylor encountered with Brooke. Together, Taylor and Deacon might overcome Sheila as a challenge. Look, this is your fault, Deacon would say to Sheila. Her granddaughter Luna Nozawa, a murderer on Bold and the Beautiful, said, "You're the one who lied, betrayed me, and put somebody else first." I believe Sheila would have to accept that if Deacon said, "Look, because of how you did me, I've moved on and that's on you." The breakdown of her marriage to Deacon is her fault. Sheila alone, no one else. If Sheila had prioritized Deacon, he probably would have been faithful to her. However, she didn't. She was lying. She sneaked around with Luna, the insane person who cold-bloodedly killed two of Deacon's closest friends. That is obviously a deal-breaker. Sheila did it even though she was aware of it at the time. Look, if anything happens to Taylor, if you hurt her in any way, not only will I never get back with you, but I will hate you and I will make you pay, Deacon can say to Sheila. Therefore, Sheila might be doing the right thing by letting Deacon go rather than pursuing Taylor. Sheila might believe that if she is patient and bides her time, Deacon will return to her if he and Taylor don't work out. Naturally, I don't think Deacon would ever leave Taylor for Sheila or anyone else if they ended up together. Vibrant and lovely reactions. How will their families react? Seeing Ridge's reaction is another reason I want to see Deacon with Taylor. I believe Brooke would be pleased for them. She is opposed to Deacon being with Sheila. Additionally, Brooke has stated that she wants to see Taylor happy and in love, but I believe it's primarily so that Ridge, the king of the Waffle Boys, won't be tempted by her. Naturally, Hope, Deacon's daughter, would be overjoyed if Deacon broke up with Sheila and ended up with Taylor, who is merely an attempted murderer rather than a dangerous murderer. I'm not sure what Steffi would think of it. Steffi might be concerned that Sheila would harm Taylor, her mother, for being with Deacon. However, Sheila poses a greater physical threat than Ridge, who has repeatedly injured her mother without doing so. Again, though, I believe they could overcome that challenge. In fact, I'm hoping for a nice finish for Deacon. Deacon and Taylor might end up becoming soulmates, in my opinion, and Sheila will have to go kick rocks by herself. Let's see how it turns out. Standing at the altar with his finely made suit, Deacon Sharp's hands trembled a little as he fixed his cufflinks. He never thought he would marry Sheila Carter. He was described as mad by others. That there was no way to save her. However, he had noticed a softness that no one else had in the quiet recesses of his heart. Loneliness. I apologize. And he was choosing to believe that today, for better or worse. Hope Logan stood nervously beside the bar across the room. She had failed to persuade him to change his mind. Finn stood guard next to her, his face tense. He whispered, "Sheila doesn't do happy endings." Hope scowled. Perhaps she's different this time. Finn clenched his jaw. Or perhaps she's simply patient. Everyone turned to face the entryway as the music grew louder. Sheila showed up in white. The whole diner fell silent for a time. She appeared radiant, but not in the brittle, shaky sense of someone acting. Rather, she was truly radiant. Even Steffi, who was observing with narrowed eyes, was unable to dispute it. Sheila arrived to the altar and met Deacon's gaze. She said, "I promised you I'd find my way back to love." With a catchy smile, Deacon spoke. "I suppose you did." Act 2, the ceremony. The celebrant started. He grinned at them and remarked, "Love isn't perfect. It's not always easy or kind. However, the risk is always worthwhile." Deacon felt his chest constrict. He looked at Hope's little, sorrowful grin before turning back to Sheila, who stood motionless with her hands clenched. He said, "I, Deacon Sharp, take you, Sheila Carter, to be my wife." There was a buzz among the guests. Arriving late, Ridge and Brooke stood in the rear like judgmental ghosts. "Sheila Carter doesn't deserve vows," Brooke said in a low, biting voice that echoed down the aisle. "She ought to be imprisoned." Steffi glared right away. "Not here, Mum." Sheila's smile wavered. Deacon paused. "Brooke." Sheila murmured softly, "Let her talk," but that old, dangerous gleam flared in her eyes. Everyone is worthy of their small performance. Taylor shifted uneasily. "Sheila." Deacon grabbed her hand. "Hi. I'm being watched." "Not them." She softened once more for a heartbeat. "You're correct." The officiant made an uncomfortable attempt to go on. "These two shouldn't be joined if anyone has a reason." Quiet. Then came a single, distinct voice that was shaking with emotion. "Yes, I do." The crash in Act 3. Everybody turned to look. Luna was the one. The audience let out a gasp. "Luna?" Stunned, Hope muttered. "What is she?" With an envelope in her hand, Luna moved ahead. Her voice was trembling and her face was pale. She looked at Deacon and murmured, "I'm sorry. But you must be aware of what she did." Sheila's face became stern. "What's this?" Luna's voice cracked. "Those threats were sent by you. The ones that led Finn to believe that I was lying about who the baby was. Everything I had left was nearly destroyed by you." Sheila gave a brittle little laugh. "You're not correct." Deacon furrowed his brow. "What messages?" Luna extended the envelope. "Proof. From the telecom provider. Numbers that were tracked. She was the one." The space went cold. Now desperate, Sheila resorted to Deacon. "They are telling lies. It's a different setup. Do you not notice what they are doing?" Deacon's expression was inscrutable. "Tell me it's untrue." "Deacon." "Tell me." His voice broke as he snapped. Sheila's mask cracked for a brief period. "I was keeping you safe. I was aware that neither you nor I would be accepted. I needed to confirm." With a wave of amazement, he took a step back. "You had to keep it under control. As usual." Sheila's voice wavered. "No, Deacon muttered, "You ruined it. You destroyed the last thing we had." The fallout in Act 4. Silently, the officiant moved away. Luna was pulled back protectively by Finn as he moved to her side. "I told you this would end like every other Sheila story," Brooke said to Ridge while crossing her arms. Steffi's voice sounded sharp and low. "Deacon is the one who paid the price, at least this time." Sheila turned to look at Steffi. "You dare not pretend to have one. You have no idea what love is." Without flinching, Steffi met her gaze. "Then give thanks to God." With a scratchy voice, Deacon raked a hand through his hair. "Sheila, you assured me. You vowed to have changed. I risked everything to protect you to everyone I care about." Sheila's face was smeared with tears. "Deacon, I did change. I adore you." He gave a headshake. "You have no love for anyone. You simply cling." Sheila shuddered and extended her hand. "Please." With a look of sorrow on his face, he took another step back. "The wedding is over." The final words lingered in the air. With murmurs, the guests started to disperse. As Ridge carefully led Brooke out, Hope remained motionless, heartbroken for her father. With sorrow in her eyes, Taylor lingered. With her veil shaking, lipstick smudged, and tears streaming down her face, Sheila stood by herself in the middle of the room. With a scarcely audible whisper, Deacon turned again. I wanted to have faith in you. Then he turned to leave. The cliffhanger in Act V. The establishment remained deserted hours later. The flowers were hanging in the silent air, and the candles had burned out. With her bouquet thrown aside next to her, Sheila sat at the altar. It buzzed on her phone. One fresh message. Just a number, no name. I told you that love was a trap. Her breath caught. She was aware of the pattern even though the number was blocked. A shiver went through her. As it wasn't an unknown person. She had buried that person. Or believed she had. Her eyes filled with fire once more as she gently raised her head. There was no longer any dread. The anger had come back. And she whispered, gently, almost tenderly. I'll exact revenge if I can't find peace. Unseen, a car's engine began to run outside. With tears shining in his eyes, Deacon sat inside and gripped the driving wheel. The shadow in his rearview mirror was shifting, but he was blind to it. Sheila wasn't finished. Deacon shut his phone off, tossing it across the empty bar. The morning sunlight filtering through the blinds felt like punishment. The same room that had been glowing with candles and laughter 12 hours ago now smelled like wilted flowers and regret. He poured himself a coffee, his hands trembling. He hadn't slept. He couldn't. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw her face, the moment she realized he didn't believe her. Her voice echoing, I love you, Deacon. He whispered it under his breath now, bitterly. Yeah. I bet you did. The door creaked open behind him. Hope stood there, eyes soft, cautious. Dad. He turned, exhausted. You shouldn't be here. I didn't want you to be alone, she said quietly, crossing to him. Have you heard from her? He shook his head. No. And that's what scares me. Hope frowned. You think she'd hurt herself? Deacon stared into his cup, then up at her, eyes dark. No, Hope. I think she'd hurt someone else. Act 2, The Missing Woman. Across town, Finn sat at his desk at the hospital, scrolling through reports. He'd been fielding calls since sunrise, anonymous sightings, security footage requests, tips from tabloids. All useless. He rubbed his eyes, muttering, she's vanished. Steffi appeared in the doorway, arms folded. You sound almost surprised. I shouldn't be, he admitted. But this time feels different. Like she's not running. She's regrouping. Steffi's tone sharpened. You think she's planning something? Finn sighed. She always is. But this time she's angry and humiliated. That's dangerous. Steffi stepped closer. She has nowhere left to go, Finn. She's burned every bridge. Finn shook his head. She always finds another one. That's what terrifies me. Steffi touched his arm gently. We'll handle it, together. He nodded, but his eyes drifted to the window. Because deep down, he knew. Sheila didn't disappear without a reason. And when she came back, she'd make sure everyone noticed. Act 3, Deacon's Guilt. Back at Illinois Giardino, Deacon paced the kitchen, the sound of his footsteps echoing against the tile. He'd called her 6 times. Left 3 voicemails. No response. The last message had been simple, desperate. Sheila. I'm sorry. Just tell me you okay. Nothing. A delivery man entered through the back door, carrying a small cardboard box. Morning, Mr. Sharp, he said cheerfully. Got a package here, no return label. Deacon frowned. Who's it from? Dunno. Just said personal delivery on the note. He signed, took it to the counter, and stared at it for a long moment. Then opened it. Inside, a single red rose. And a small flash drive. No note. He plugged it into his laptop, dread crawling up his spine. A video began to play, shaky, handheld, black and white. Sheila's voice. You wanted proof, Deacon. Proof that I still loved you. Proof that I'd do anything for you. Watch. The camera panned, revealing a man's office, empty, then zoomed in on a Forrester Creations security badge. Rich Forrester. Deacon's heart stopped. Sheila laughed softly in the video. They took everything from me. Maybe it's time I take something back. Then the screen went black. Act 4, The Fallout. Deacon stumbled back from the counter, breathing hard. No, he whispered. No, no, no. Hope rushed in from the dining area. Dad, what happened? He shoved the laptop toward her. She's back. And she's going after them. Hope's face paled. We have to call Finn. Deacon nodded numbly. Do it. Now. Act V, the family meeting. At the Cliff House, Steffi was already on the phone with Ridge when Finn's cell rang. Hope's voice came through, shaky but clear. Finn, it's Hope. My dad just got a video from Sheila. Finn froze. What kind of video? She's threatening the Forresters. She said she's going to take something back. Steffi's expression darkened. Of course she is. Finn put the phone on speaker. Did she say where she was? No, Hope said. But there was a clue, Ridge security badge. She might be going to Forrester. Steffi grabbed her keys. Then we're going there. Finn caught her wrist. Steffi. No, Finn, she snapped. If she's walking into my family's company, she's not walking out. He looked at her, torn between fear and admiration. She was her father's daughter, fierce, unflinching. And that terrified him. Act 6, the empty studio. When they arrived at Forrester Creations, the building was dark. Security lights glowed faintly over the showroom floor. Steffi pushed open the door, every footstep echoing. Sheila, she called out. No answer. Finn held up his phone flashlight, scanning the mannequins and draped fabrics. If she was here, she's gone now. Steffi's voice lowered. Or hiding. Then she saw it, a rose, lying on the sketch table. A single drop of water beneath it, like a tear. Finn's phone buzzed. A new message. Unknown number. You should have believed me when I said I'd always be part of your lives. Attached, a photo. Of the two of them. Taken right now. Steffi gasped. She's watching us. They turned, scanning the shadows. No one. But a faint laugh drifted through the empty space. Cold. Familiar. Sheila's. Act 7, the cliffhanger. Outside, on the rooftop, Sheila watched them through a security monitor feed, her face half hidden beneath a hood. The city lights glinted in her eyes. Her voice, calm, deliberate, echoed into her phone recorder. They took my piece. Now I'll take theirs. One by one. She pressed send, forwarding the file to an unknown contact. Then she looked down at the wedding ring still on her finger. Till death do us part, right, Deacon? She smiled, the kind of smile that could shatter glass. And as lightning flashed across the Los Angeles skyline, she whispered, let the games begin.